The Champions League semi-final second leg is here, and in today's video, we're going to be giving you guys our predictions. Last week, we saw PSG against Bayern Munich as one of the craziest semi-final games we've ever seen. And then we saw Arsenal against Atletico Madrid, which was kind of ass, to be honest. But today, we're going to be giving you guys our second leg predictions for both games. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as I'm almost at 8,000 subscribers and I can't do it without you guys. And don't forget to check out David. His links will be in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get right into these predictions. Starting off with the first match, we have Arsenal against Atletico Madrid.
Starting off with the first game, obviously, Atletico versus Arsenal. Everybody had their suspicions of this game being the most boring game. Now, obviously, looking at the first half, Atletico Madrid and Arsenal, they were kind of like, jabbing a little bit, probing each other. I think Arsenal had a little bit more of the better chances in the first half. Obviously, Joker is winning that penalty. I do think it was a penalty, and he smashed it. I'm not gonna lie, that's a really good penalty. But looking at the first half, honestly, Henko, terrible defender.
Henko was kind of trash all game. Like, he was clumsy, he was going into stupid challenges. Obviously, like you said, he caused the first penalty, and even in the second half, he was also the one who almost gave away another penalty on Eze. But what were your thoughts on that penalty on Eze? Do you think it should have been a penalty, or do you think it was the right decision to disallow it?
At first, when I first seen it, I thought it was a penalty. But you look at some of the camera angles, and luckily the referee saw a really good camera angle, and you could see he kind of like grazed it. He grazed Eze, and Eze fell down. He didn't deserve a yellow card for like simulation or anything like that, but I think it was the right call to not give the penalty at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that was a penalty in my opinion. But as you said, Arsenal were probably just the better team in the first half. But in the second half, I think Atletico Madrid came back. They were the better team. They had a lot of shots, and obviously Alvarez got that penalty in the 56th minute. Great penalty shot right into the corner, and that leveled the scoreline 1-1. Griezmann, for his last game at the Metropolitano, he was incredible, and he almost scored so many times. We saw him hitting the crossbar. We saw him just barely missing. He probably could have scored maybe 2 goals. And Ademola Lookman, he was missing so many chances. For how good of a player he is, he needed to score in that game. On breakaways, one-on-one with the keeper, he was shooting it right at the keeper. Poor finishing ability, and I think Atletico Madrid probably could have gotten a 2-1 win, but obviously it did end 1-1.
For how boring this game was, though, it somehow had more shots than the PSG and Bayern game.
That's crazy. I can't believe that this game had more shots. But even though it was boring, both teams, they had a decent amount of chances. So I guess I can understand it.
But leading on to the second leg, honestly, this is going to be very, very tough. Honestly, hopefully Alvarez is going to be playing. I think Simeone actually did say that Alvarez will and surely should play. And they're going to need him. They're going to need all their best players. And honestly, Atletico, they're going to need all the players to run, all the players to do everything possible to win this game. It's not going to be easy at the Emirates, obviously, being that Arsenal have probably the best defense in the world at the moment. It's going to be very tough. It's going to be tough.
For me, I feel like 2 really important players for Atletico Madrid going into this game at the Emirates will be their wingers, players like Simeone and players like Lookman, because they were probably the more creative players in that first leg game, and they had many chances. Like I already mentioned, Lookman had so many chances, but he just wasn't clinical enough. So I do feel like if Atletico Madrid can improve their finishing and can be more clinical, then I think they can score possibly multiple goals against Arsenal. But like you already mentioned, they have the best defense in the world. If we look at Arsenal, for me, a really important player for them in the first leg was David Raya. And I know it's kind of strange to say that the goalkeeper is arguably the most important player, but he was making so many saves. It's crazy.
I think some of the people, though, that might be able to change this game for them are going to be Eze and potentially Saka if he does come on as a substitute. So the way I think this game is going to go is a little bit closer to how the first leg went. Both teams, it's going to be very cagey. Both teams are going to feel each other out. I think it's going to end 1-1, and it's going to go to penalties. And I think on penalties, Atletico Madrid go to the final.
I don't know if I think it's going to go to penalties, but I think I'm just going to go for a simple 1-0 win to Atletico Madrid. Moving on to the next match, we have Bayern Munich against PSG. Bro, tell me about that first leg game. Was that the craziest semifinal game we've ever seen? Like, I don't remember any other semifinal with that many goals and with that much back and forth craziness going on. It was just crazy. That game was mad.
Yeah, honestly, it was really balanced. Honestly, there was a point where you thought PSG won it. There was a point where you thought Bayern maybe could have gone to win it. But both teams honestly displayed beautiful attacking. Let's be honest, the defense was pretty much non-existent that game. But it's like both coaches almost allowed that to happen. Both coaches were like, you know what, let's just go shot for shot and let's see who wins it. And kudos to Bayern. To be 5-2 down, I thought the game was pretty much done from there. And then they came back, even to come back at 5-4 and and bring it back to the Allianz Arena is an amazing feat already. Company honestly might be the best manager right now in the world in terms of where he came from Burnley, and doing the job that he's doing right now at Bayern. I think he's got to have that title, honestly. He's doing an amazing job.
Speaking about Vincent Kompany, like you mentioned, he's really grown since his days at Burnley. And in my opinion, obviously in the first leg game, he wasn't on the sideline because he was suspended. But I think if he was, I feel like Bayern Munich actually maybe could have got a result from that game, because I feel like there was a few players who weren't really involved in the game. Players like Stanisic didn't have the best game, Musiala, and I feel like if Kompany was there managing the team, I feel like he would have definitely taken out these players earlier. Stanisic didn't even come off. I feel like he should have definitely came off. And with that being said, I think Bayern could have maybe got a result if Vincent Kompany was there. But in terms of the defense, like you mentioned, this game was all out attack. Defensively, I didn't think there was too many problems, although Neuer, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Neuer's performance against Real Madrid, although it wasn't that bad, but I think he still could have possibly done better on some of PSG's attempts.
We start off with Kane getting that penalty, and that was a really good presence of play, especially by Kane to Olise back to Luis Diaz to win that penalty. Before that penalty, though, it was a little bit cagey. You never would have thought this game would have ended the way it did. But obviously, look, Kane, he was always going to bury that penalty.
Yeah, and then after that penalty, that kind of opened the floodgates for more goals, because then we saw Kvaratskhelia, bro. That goal from Kvaratskhelia. He's so good at taking on defenders one-on-one. It's insane. He's incredible. And then after that, we saw the shortest player on the pitch, João Neves, score a fantastic header. And then before the end of the first half, we saw more drama. We saw Olise score that incredible goal. He was guarded by about 4 players, but it seems like they never wanted to actually guard up close. I don't know what was going on.
No one tackled him.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for that, but nothing happened. So Olise got that goal, and then right before halftime, Dembele got that goal due to a handball from Alphonso Davies. Do you remember that handball?
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was a handball. I'm gonna say it was a handball. It was kind of funny as well that Ousmane Dembele looked to Alphonso Davies. If y'all know, you'll know.
Yeah, I think it was just a handball. Obviously, it was very close range, but in the Champions League, usually those are given. So I would probably say that was the right decision.
So going into the second half, obviously, we didn't think that the game was going to end up again almost like the first half. Started off a little bit interesting, feeling each other out. Then Kvara going in, shooting, scoring. Obviously, he's too good one-on-one. He's too good cutting in. And then obviously Dembele posting in. That was a really nice finish by Dembele as well.
Yeah, I feel like though Bayern Munich defensively on both of those 2 goals, they weren't the best, but obviously they came back after. They scored 2 goals within the next 10 minutes. Upamecano getting that header from the Kimmich cross, and then obviously Luis Diaz. Bro, that pass by Kane, first of all, to Luis Diaz, and then that touch and that finish, bro, it was crazy. That game was probably the craziest game that I've ever seen in the semifinals. But now obviously they're playing at Allianz Arena, and do you think that we can have another crazy scoreline like there was in the first game?
I feel like it makes sense. It definitely makes sense to do so. At the same time, it's like you almost don't even believe it because the first game was so amazing. But it's like everything points towards it.
Who do you think has the better attack between Bayern Munich and PSG? Because obviously these teams, it's mainly the attack, right? Both of these teams, that's the best part of the team is the attack. So who do you think has the better attack? Who do you think has the attack more capable of scoring goals?
So this is the thing. So I think Bayern's balance in terms of Kane being like an out-and-out 9, but almost like a 10. So he's like a 9.5. And then you have a really good Olise and then Diaz as like cut inside wingers. So I think the balance on Bayern is better, but obviously Kvara, Dembele, and then sometimes Doué, maybe Barcola is obviously a really good front 3 as well. They're all a little bit more different wingers at the same time. Even Dembele even though he is a striker right now, he's kind of like not necessarily an actual striker like Kane. So it's different, they can kind of like almost like swoop in, change their positions as well during the game.
Yeah, they can rotate positions.
Yeah. So it's really good. I think I would rather Bayern's attack than PSG's. But PSG's attack obviously is very, very good. They have Ballon d'Or, Ousmane, and then after Kvara and Doué/Barcola. So
I see what you're saying about the attack. I do feel like Bayern Munich have a more balanced attack, but in terms of the whole team, I feel like PSG have something that can really hurt Bayern Munich, and what that is the pace. These PSG players are super fast. All the attackers are fast, the midfielders are fast, and the thing with Bayern Munich is they actually have a lot of slow players. You look at players like Kane, players like Kimmich, some of their defenders are a little bit slower. And I do feel like PSG used that to their advantage in the first leg game, because them on the counterattack, every time they had a counterattack, they would easily hurt Bayern Munich. They could get close to goal, get a shot off, and most of the time they would end up scoring. So I do feel like that's a big advantage for PSG over Bayern Munich.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments too. What do you guys think the best attacking wise is, Bayern or PSG?
So for the predictions for this game, who do you think is going to win and who do you think is going to advance?
Me personally, I would love to see Kane in another Champions League final and potentially win, but I think PSG will edge it out. Just because, like you said, they have the pace in the front three. They also have the pace in the midfield. They had the pace on their wing backs as well, their full backs. They're gonna win it. They're gonna win it, and I think they're gonna win by 4-2 on goals. I don't know, whatever that is on aggregate. They have so many goals, but you know, they're gonna win it.
Me personally, I agree with you in the sense that I think whoever wins this is gonna win the final.
Yeah.
But I see Bayern Munich taking this one. I feel like with the home advantage, it is definitely a big advantage. Company's there. I feel like we mentioned earlier, I think they have a more balanced attack. So for that reason, I'm going to go 3-1 Bayern Munich, and they advance over PSG.
3-1? Now, what would that make it? I would make it like 8-2. No, sorry, 8-6 on aggregate.
We'll make it, no. 3-1 would make it 7-5? Yeah, 7-5.
Damn.
And you said 4-2?
Yeah,
would make it 9-6.
Yeah.
On aggregate. It's crazy, bro.
It's like FIFA
That's
numbers.
mad, literally. And that's the end of this video. Those were our Champions League semi-final predictions for the second leg games. As always, if you agree with our predictions, remember to leave your comments down below. But if you disagree, remember to leave your predictions and I'll be sure to reply to every single comment. But obviously, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.
And join up the live stream too.